That was a really good sounding, like can crack.
It was, wasn't it? I was gonna do it like subtly before, and then it just went fucking. Yeah, I'm ready. I think we should just open the podcast with that noise.
I think I'm going to. I think I'm going to keep all of this in.
Amazing.
Welcome to Overtime on Inferno, your weekly roundup of all the big stories in CSGO. Quicker than everyone volunteered on Twitter to have themselves sub for Robs.
It's me. I'm subbing in for Robs. Jump in the news here now. It's me. I'm subbing in for FaZe.
A quick reminder to rate and review us at the end of the episode. It really helps us. I'm Logan. This is Aizyesque. Let's get into it. A couple things before we get started. Spotify brought out a new feature. So if you're listening on Spotify, I have the ability to ask questions to the audience and for them to respond to questions. I'm going to start asking questions. So start responding to me because we'll have cool interaction and questions and stuff. And we'll have a question related to something that we talk about on the podcast that we think is somewhat controversial.
And if you're not listening on Spotify, start.
Well, I mean, you can
listen to it on Spotify and YouTube and somewhere else. We get like 3 times as many listens. That's the life hack.
That's the life hack. Yeah. I asked the question last time without saying anything about it on where would you like to see the next major. I'm probably going to reuse that question because it was still a good question. But this time we're telling you to answer it. So yeah, call to action. It's like one of the steps.
We're not going to tell you what to answer with though, because that would be cheating.
No, yeah, that would be cheating. If it's not NA though, you're doing something wrong.
If it's not Newcastle, you're wrong.
Newcastle, England. That's where we're going next.
Yeah, that would be great.
Let's open up with the story that does not stop giving.
Yeah.
What was it? 2 years ago we found out about Coach Bug?
Yeah, we're talking about King Coach Bug again.
I'm pretty
it's
sure
not London this time, at least.
No, it's not London this time. I'm pretty sure the second episode we ever recorded was last year, and it was we're still fucking talking about the Coach Bug, and yep, we're still fucking talking about the Coach Bug.
I was so bored of it then. Now I'm like re-energized and ready to talk about it. I'm not. That's a lie.
So
I hate this story.
So okay, this is not even that big of a story. We're doing it because it is a story that we should talk about, which is Valens, former coach for Cloud9, then coach for EG, then now currently head of data science for EG. So he works within Counter-Strike, Valorant, Dota, League, etc. He was using the Coach Bug.
Yeah.
But it was the new and improved and mutated second strain variation version of the Coach Bug.
It was the Omicron variant.
It was the Omicron Coach Bug, which
I think retroactively we should take away NA's major.
Wait, but it happened after the major.
So?
Why would we give it to England?
We deserve it.
You know what? You deserve it more than Nico.
Hell yeah. Choke less finals than Nico.
Yeah, sure. We'll say that. Sure.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like... They've obviously found this new Coach Bug, and Valens, I don't know if he's the only person who's done it, or if he's just the first one they've named.
He's the one that we know has done it.
Yeah. So there's probably others. Like, at this point, it's going to be harder to find a coach who didn't cheat, which, I mean, I'm starting to see Valve's point, honestly.
Yeah.
I hate coaches. I'm starting to see why. Fuck them all.
I coach a team, right, and the league that we play in has adopted the Valve rules, and it's really fucking annoying for me, but like I definitely see, because like this could be way worse. Like
yeah. Like I mean like there's so many coaches, like it's just so
yeah. It's like you'll hear the saying like a few bad apples, and it's like there's like there's a couple, but it's like every day it seems to be that there's like 10 more. And like the list just keeps going on and on.
Yeah,
and on.
I mean, at least it's been a while since we found any new ones, but there's just kind of it's quite fitting we call it like the Omicron one, because it feels like there's going to be another wave of coaches who are like found cheating, and it's like it's just can't we all just not cheat? Maybe Vaxox
Va-
had a point all along.
So Valens came out and was like, "Yep, definitely had it. It definitely was a thing." He was like, he had no understanding of what it was. He contacted the tournament mid game at least one occasion, and basically every other time he just reset it. He said, "Quote: It was quite possible. I was just waiting for it to reset since most weird glitches in the game kind of just went away after pressing some keys, like the weird hype bug where your model can see over things until you crouch or press jump." So, like, if you don't know what the coaching bug is, because this was a long time ago, and the coaching bug wasn't the coaching bug at that point. I kind of
basically Cypher camera from Valorant.
Yep.
But on a sixth man who can watch it.
Wait, there's no Cypher camera. There's just only Hunden cam in Valorant.
Yeah. Has Hunden tried to go pro in Valorant yet? So it feels like that's what happened to a bunch of the cheaters in like tier 2, like from NA and stuff. They were like, "Oh yeah, we'll just go pro in Valorant." I think Hunden was too high profile to get away with it, but Valorant's probably still could.
I mean, Valens does a very nice job doing data science. He doesn't play, he doesn't coach.
Yeah, like he's not even going to get any.
Like he can get into trouble for this, and no one will care. Like,
yeah, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to ban you from coaching. That's fucking great. You don't coach. I mean, maybe he's right, and he didn't really abuse it, but it's just becoming very difficult to actually trust any of the coaches and what they say. To be honest, like
it's like an end of the day thing. I think this is a totally separate discussion. I think Valens is in the right place now. Because have you like read the story of like Valens? He was a software engineer at Tesla, or a data scientist at Tesla, then at Google, and then he stopped doing that to go coach Cloud9.
Fair enough. I mean, that's a couple of
and then he won a
jobs.
And
those are seriously cushy jobs.
Well, it's just like as someone who like has done a lot of data analytics stuff and like is in the same general field, like in a professional life, it's hard to fucking get those jobs.
Yeah.
And, like the fact that he just was like, fucking, I'm going to go coach a major winning team. I'm going to go coach a team and win a major. And then now he just does what he wants in the esports that he wants to do them in, and kind of like does what like that's just fun. That's awesome.
And also,
like,
can you imagine being EG like, we're in esports. We need a data scientist. Where are we going to get a good data scientist? And there's talking about an esport. So Val's like, oh yeah, by the way, I used to work as a data scientist for Google, and I'm also a major winning coach. What? How did this happen?
How did this go?
That's perfect. Like, are you sure? Are you sure you did that job?
Are you bullshitting me now?
Are you serious? Like that must just be amazing. Like we didn't even. Yeah, I wonder if it's a case where they're like, "Oh, we need a data scientist." Oh my god, this guy is perfect. Or it was like, "Oh my god, Valens is available. What can we make him do?" Can we make data science a role? Is that a thing? Yeah, fuck it, it'll be fine.
All right, let's talk about fucking Blast Premier.
Yeah, Astralis lost, NIP lost.
Liquid lost.
Speaking
of EG
it's
lost.
Good. Yeah, I mean, they had the day from hell.
Yeah, and he was
all three teams went out last at the same day.
It was rough. And, no, the worst part of that day. All right, so Liquid, Complexity, and EG all went out last. The worst part of this day, though, was it was in the knockout stage or whatever the fuck it's called, right? And all three of these teams played in a row. In the single elimination, right? And so you see Complexity get 2-0'd, right? You see Liquid get 2-0'd, and you had some faith with Liquid because like they started to like get their shit together on Ancient, which we had never seen them play before, and it started to look good, and we had like so much hope going into the last match that okay, Complexity lost to MIBR, Liquid lost to Navi. EG just has to beat big. This is so doable. NA's going to get one team through. They win a map. They go to 3 maps, and EG loses, and just all of NA is just like, you're fucking kidding me, right?
Yeah. I mean, EG with the team I was least expecting to win.
Same, but like
I could kind of see Liquid beating Navi. The form Navi were in, I could see them beating Navi. Like, I just cannot. I saw like Maui Snake saying on HOTV confirmed saying he thinks EG are pretty close to being good, and Maybe they are from the way they play, but I just look at this team on paper and I'm like, I don't know how this team could ever be good.
Here's the thing. I think EG is having chemistry issues. Right? And the reason I know this... Okay. Like team chemistry, team synergy.
Like, okay.
And I have facts.
Not like in a Breaking Bad situation.
No.
Just taking too much meth.
I have data for this. I have statistics to back this up. Okay? This past Saturday, Pasha Biceps beat up a bodybuilder.
This is not where I thought this sentence was going to start.
Okay. This last Saturday, Pasha beat up a bodybuilder. And it was fucking amazing to watch. And I wanted to get this in the podcast as well because that was amazing to watch. But importantly, Evil Geniuses tweeted out a picture of their Counter-Strike team there. Their whole Counter-Strike team went to go watch Pasha win. Do you know who was not there with them?
The coach.
Stewie and Automatic did not go. Rush, Cirque, Breezy, and all three of the coaches all there.
Right.
Stewie and Automatic not there.
This is not where I thought you were going with this when you said data. I was like, well, when we talk about like trade percentage, because there's a couple of reasons for that. We took like flash assist. Like no.
We went over the fact that
the team was at Pasha Biceps' fight.
Yeah.
Two of them just couldn't be asked to go.
Exactly.
Maybe they just don't like violence.
They play Counter-Strike for a living.
Fair point. Maybe they don't like Pasha.
How can you not like Pasha?
I don't know. Maybe he tried to knock Stewie out once. I have no idea. Maybe they're scared of him. Maybe they were worried he was going to get beat up and they didn't want to see their hero get beaten up.
I think that the EG team is already having internal struggles and turmoil, and they've been together for like 5 minutes. This is my grand conspiracy theory.
The grand conspiracy theory is that these players sound that good.
Okay, that too.
I'd be more worried about complexity having, early teething issues, but I don't know. I was pretty high on this team from formation, but so far it's looking a bit disjointed. I mean, obviously it's not been long since they...
Yeah.
But the early signs are not great. Like, they lost to MIBR. Like, there's not that much... There's not that much, like, you could talk about. You lost a best of 3 to MIBR. Like, you can't... 2-0 as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was bad.
Because NA won one map in that day.
Yep, it was rough.
Yeah, I don't know. I was high in complexity. That sort of initial enthusiasm is waning pretty quickly.
I'm still high on this complexity team. I think MIBR had a really good event, and I'm just gonna have unbridled love for complexity regardless. So, well,
yeah. I mean, I was pretty. I liked Turtle and Woody when I saw them play for. It was either, I can't remember if it was Bravos or Paqueta, but I watched...
It was for Bravos.
I watched them play at a South American event, and I liked the look of them too, but I didn't think they were as good as the players Complexity was signing.
Okay.
So, to me, this is still a bit like, it's still kind of a shock, and I'm like, all right, maybe I'm just a little bit too high on the NA copium, and I'm not even American.
Yeah, just let me be on the NA copium. You can be on the UK copium.
I'm on the Brazil copium.
That's a good point. All right, let's. There's still more to talk about this in the event.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest. We kind of forgot about this. Navi got like full knocked out.
No, Navi.
Oh no,
didn't get knocked out. They qualified in a tiebreaker.
They qualified in like the very, very last round, and
it
was just a weird tournament for Navi.
Yeah, they looked very rusty, but you give them the benefit of the doubt for a while. You're like, It's fucking Navi. Like, they start, sometimes they do start slow, and then they just turn into the best team in the world.
They were the best team in the world against Liquid, and then they used up all that juice. That's all.
Yeah, I mean, they 16-6 to NIP, and they did just dick NIP in the tiebreaker. Like, I don't know. They went back to their best there, but It took NIP making a massive comeback to make Map 2 even close. If you're not talking about that giant comeback, it's two dominant performances from Na'Vi. They have some rust, but...
Speaking of NIP, Fozy looks fucking great on the op.
Yeah.
Like, very good stand-in material right now.
Definitely just don't look at his rating against Na'Vi.
I'm not going to. I wasn't planning on
it. Otherwise, you might, I will say better opers than him have been dicked by Simple.
Yeah. But OG Nexa looked like Nexa at one point looked like the best player in the entire tournament.
Nexa's back to like 2019 Nexa.
Yeah. This is nice. That time where it's like, this is when we start posing the question of like, when Nico was on teams with other people and everyone else fell off, and they're like, nah, I can't be Nico. It has to be everyone else fell off.
Yeah.
And then Nexa fell off when he joined with Nico, and then he leaves Nico and then has the best event of his last 3 years on a brand new team. Like,
I will say it seems to polarize pretty massively, because some players, yeah, they do seem to get worse playing with Nico, and Nexa's the obvious example, but I think like Guardian, that's not fair actually. Guardian was fine. Maybe like Olaf or something, but also Rain had the best form of his career under Nico.
Yeah,
with Nico.
Nico was IGLing for like 2 days.
Yeah, Nico probably So it's not, and Munzi, I mean, it's very short so far, but he doesn't see. I mean, if he is getting made worse by Nico, he's some fucking player because he is electric.
It's literally just Baker for Counter-Strike. Then it's just being held back. That's what it is.
Chris J's another player who got better when Nico left. He looks pretty average on mouse, and then he had like a massive. We'll ignore Chris J's Twitter game.
We'll ignore Chris J's political views.
I'm not going to get into it. I just don't think it's a good. Even if you hold these opinions, just don't tweet them. It's so much easier. But yeah, so like some players seem to just elevate to the level of Nico. As I say, like Rain has been awful since Nico left, and was very good with him. As good as Rain's ever been, at least.
So average. Got it.
Okay. So like average. It's a very good eco frag. And so far with this version of G2, the players have tended to look pretty good. But Nexa was a fragger originally, and then they signed Nico, and he turned into like Carrigan. And it was like, has he just like lost it? Like, what's going on? And then he moves to OG, starts like playing in a role, I guess, that's more comfortable for him. He doesn't feel like he has to walk on eggshells. Maybe I don't know exactly what it is, but he instantly looks more comfortable. And dare I say it, OG looked like a better team.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
With Nexa over Alexi B,
which 1,000% too.
I mean, I wasn't sure Nexa could refine that form.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a little bit. I wasn't ready to say I actually think this is a good move for OG. I mean, I don't think Alexi B is that good, as it's well documented. I don't think he's that good an in-game leader, but I didn't necessarily think Nexa was that good either. But then you see Nexa as an individual player, and it's like, well, they've definitely upgraded firepower wise. It's just, and if he can sort of build on that, if he could build on a system that Alexi B has bought, that might be the best of both worlds.
All right, let's move on. I want to talk. Okay, so we talked about data science at the beginning of this episode.
And you bought some of data of your own as well.
Well, okay, we need to talk about it again because we're talking about Pinnacle now, which is a tier 2 tournament that's been going on, right?
There's been a lot of fun.
What I want to talk about is endpoints, okay? I want to specifically talk about endpoint here. You wanted to talk about 0-0 Nation and Brazil and Tricked and stuff, but I want to talk about endpoint because for like the 6th time now, endpoint has gotten a player not from the UK, right? They had Flamesy before, right? They've had a couple Israeli players. They now have a Jordanian player. They've had players from the Middle East that they've brought in and turned into very good players. And it's happening again with Boros.
Yeah.
So what the fuck is the system?
I've heard from somebody who spoke to people at Endpoint. They have some sort of like statistical analysis system. If you think of, I think the allegory I used on Twitter was Billy Bean or Matthew Benham, who's done something similar in football with a Danish team called FC Midgetland, and then later Brentford.
I'm sorry, did you say Midgetland?
Yes, that's okay. The name of the place. I might be mispronouncing it. It's not spelt like that, but I'm told it's pronounced Midgetland. It's Danish. It'll be you'll have to like cough in the middle of it or something like. But yes, and they used Matthew Benham was an ex-poker player, I believe, who turned football, soccer for you, into data, like literally turned it into a science. Yeah, he pretty much moneyballed it. And so the idea, or the what I've been told by by sources, quote unquote, is that yeah, I mean, supposedly somebody at Endpoint is like just tells people about it. I don't know. I have no idea, but supposedly they use some sort of statistical measure, which would make sense really, because
yes,
how else would you find Boros? How else would you find Flames? Like, there has to be some way that they found these players with non-traditional methods. So it makes perfect sense to me for that to be a statistical method, because we have HLTV, like we have like Stay in Pit, I think is an even more advanced method. Like this data, because every game is literally played on a PC, it's so easy to track all of this data. Mm-hmm. I know like North used to have like some pretty advanced data that would like
they had it with like FC Copenhagen, right?
Yeah, but they used to have stats like how often players died with their knives out, for example, which isn't very useful. It might tell you if somebody has a bad habit, but it's not like a particularly useful stat you can use. But that's the sort of minutiae you can get into.
To be fair, they did have config on their team for a little while, so that
that's true. Yeah, he got kills with his knife out. He got kills with his knife out, not got killed. But somebody also told me, somebody else told me that they signed Boros without ever actually watching him play, which is would surprise me. Like, surely you would want to like watch him just to make sure you're seeing. You know, that doesn't seem correct to me. That doesn't seem true. It seems like that's sort of a myth, but that is something I've heard, that they hadn't actually watched him play. I mean, surely you would just find this play, like, I think this is the guy. You'd watch some demos and you go, okay, yeah, no, he's legit. Which seems like it's probably what happened, rather than they just signed him without even. If
they signed him without talking about it, though, that is such a Giga Chad move. I love.
That's so. I don't even need to watch him, mate. Trust the data. I mean, if they did, then that's like. Then I need to know what's going on in there, like with their data, because that's an insane find. Yeah. Like, and you can't even call it lucky, because they just keep finding the same player.
This is the second or third time they've done it, right?
They found Mezzi.
They found Mezzi. They found Flames. They found Boros.
Boros nuts as well, right?
Yeah, they've got this other Israeli on the roster right now. Like,
yeah, they're pretty high on him as well, I think.
Yeah, like they've had a Thomas, at least for a while. Like, they've had a lot of good players go through this team, and whether they ended up being something somewhere else, they were still very good players. And it's one of those, like, something's happening at Endpoint.
I think they also should get some credit. It's not just about scouting a good player or a player that fits your system. The system seems to be so easy to work around for these players. I remember Devil Walk, I think it was FPX, speaking about how they had a system that didn't like. You remember when they changed? They put Emmy in instead of Crystal.
Yeah,
I think it was. And he was like, yeah, the actual IGL doesn't have to bring their own system. They just need to sort of interpret it in a sense. It's like, you know, we have a system that we can slot players in and out of to make it easier, which is a kind of a unique way, not a unique way of doing it, but a slightly different way to how a lot of teams do it. and one that I think certainly makes sense if you're not as rich.
Yeah.
To have that direction from above. So when your players do get poached, you know what you're looking for, and you know that you can mix players, you can bring players in and out, and it's not a massive issue.
Yeah. Speaking of Endpoint, they play their last match in Pinnacle tomorrow morning. At least morning here, it's in the afternoon for you. Yeah. Pinnacle's been fun. Basically, this is what we're going on.
And yeah, I mean, I've been watching 00 Nation. Try has just been absolutely smurfing. If you're not aware of who he is, he's on 9Z, who are a South American team.
He had one good game against Zaiwu.
He had a great game against Vitality, but he was phenomenal for a while.
Yeah.
And he went to Europe and he took Vitality apart, and they were like, "Oh shit, this guy's legit." He's been smurfing in Europe in the Pinnacle Cup. We are obviously big fans of Malbs. He's been, inconsistent, but that's to be expected with the type of player he is. But he's been very solid. This team's pretty fun. They did win a game earlier against Unique where they were 18-17 up, CT side overpass. Unique have one chance to take it to double AT, and they spent 45 seconds trying to make a 5-man boost happen. Give up because it kept failing, ran into B and all died. It was the saddest way to end a round I've ever seen.
Hold up, what was the other match?
There was another
in the clip today.
Oh, that was
Team
Spirit versus it was Fours versus somebody.
It was Fours. It was in Malta Vibes, I think.
Yeah, so there's two tier 2 tournaments at the same time. Something else that happened in the OO Nation game was in a 4v5. VSM snuck out onto the A site on Mirage and then just railed his teammate and connector.
Hold up, that's also bullshit. It was Dignitas versus Fours, I think. Where the player just decided not to defuse.
It was the player was Xiaofi. He already had an AWP. The bomb's planted on the B site on Nuke. He already has an AWP. He goes up the vents to look at another AWP, turns around, goes back down the vents, doesn't have time to defuse.
Yep.
Supposedly he was looking for a kit. And he was told there was a kit on one of his players. But just defuse the fucking bomb, dude. I think I saw Automatic do it once in an FPL game, and it's quite a famous FPL clip where the bomb's planted on B site Cobble, he runs to A to pick up an AWP, gets halfway back and realizes he doesn't have time to defuse.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it reminded me of instantly. I'm like, this is just so amateurish. Automatic did this in an FPL game, so it was who cares? Yeah, you're doing this in an actual game. This is so... It's so amateurish. How do you just defuse the fucking bomb? What's the problem?
All right.
I'm so triggered.
There's another important thing we have to talk about. Really important.
Yeah, there's so much Counter-Strike happening at the moment.
There's this small tournament coming up next week that we need to talk about. So it's called IEM Katowice. It's small. Not a huge thing, not a big deal. There's a lot of teams there. This is our preview for it. It's going to be exciting. That was our preview for it.
There's so much happening. The play-in alone has just the first round of play-in has just so many bangers. NIP Vizsla Krakow, great fun. Any chance NIP might lose to a underdog, always funny. Copenhagen Flames versus Fnatic. It should just be a Fnatic win. Is your camera wobbling or is it just me?
It's on my desk. It's definitely wobbling.
Okay. I thought I was just getting really excited by IEM Katowice and I was shaking. Godsend versus Mouse is one of the opening games. That's a banger.
Yep.
That is a banger. I think Godsend will win, but I can fully understand why that one's a complete coin flip.
Sprout FaZe should just not really be a match at all, but it'll be fun.
But then we should talk about the fact that FaZe
aren't
playing with Rops because he's got COVID.
Yeah, and since they're all going to be in person, they're not having matches played online. So FaZe will be bringing JKS as a sub, which, to be fair, out of subs you could have gotten, the second best one.
Yeah, behind AZ.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
I mean, in terms of roles as well, he is a similar player to Rops. I don't know if he'll just slot in and meet, like in those roles because they'll probably shift them around a little bit. But in terms of style of play, JKS and Rops is about as close a stylistic fit as you'll find.
yeah, it's a good fit. It's a good player thing. I mean, I honestly, I don't think I don't think FaZe wins this regardless. Like not this
Wait.
match, like this.
Oh, right, I was going to say, it's like you're very high on Sprout all of a sudden. What happened?
I think FaZe gets probably through to the second weekend, regardless of if they have Rapsin or not. I think the FaZe has just been playing well. To be fair,
I'm so sad because this would have been Tyloo versus FaZe.
yeah, I know.
It would have been Tyloo versus FaZe. That would have been a nuclear
okay.
banger.
Let's talk about Oceanic teams because the next game is actually really good.
Yeah,
It's just OG Renegades, and Renegades has Liaz sitting in.
Yeah, who I think is really good.
So do I.
I think Liaz is really good. He was sort of like highly rated with like domestically, but outside of Australia, I don't think he ever got the respect he deserved. He's a very good player.
I agree. I'm excited to see him play with the Australians again, and I think that this could be an actual upset team.
Yeah,
they fun.
They always have that ability because they're so good domestically. You don't really know how good they are on an international level, but you have to assume they're pretty good. Yeah. And they're usually a pretty solid upset team. I do think that OG looked a little bit too well drilled, and Nexa just looks a bit too good at the moment. I don't see OG losing.
I don't see OG losing, but I can definitely see Renegades winning.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Like, I think Renegades will have to be like, I'll have to just look like really good to be OG. It's not completely out of the question, but I'd be surprised.
Berlin major form, got it. Okay.
Yeah.
With none of the players except for Liaz from that.
Yeah.
Entropic is just gonna be fun because Entropic's fun to watch.
Entropic is like, so I said this game's really hard to call on Twitter, and people are like, no, Entropic are clearly better. I'm like,
no, Ents could definitely easy win this game.
Like Ents
easy wins this
game. Like I'm a little bit higher on Ents than most. I think.
I was gonna say I'm not saying that Ents should win this. This is we said the last game was like I don't see OG losing this, but I can see Renegades win this. I can see either team winning this and either team losing this. This game is really fun.
Entropic are a really good team. I just think. I mean, I just really like Madden. If you get like early 2020 Madden. He'll be the best player in the server, and that's it. Like, and Elian is really good, but like, I don't know. I like this Ents team. I think that one is a coin flip as well.
Big Complexity is going to be the real test for Complexity is what they can do with like a week of being existent together, because. Big, as we've said many times, Big is the gateway to being a good team.
I like that they've gone from being...
At least they used to be the gateway to being a good team.
They've gone from being like the gateway to being a good team to just like the European border force. It's like they just keep all the American teams out. Like, if you can't beat us, you're not allowed in this continent. EG, go home. Complexity, you're up next. If you can't beat us, you're out. What's really annoying is that because it's Big Complexity and after that Astralis MIBR, if Complexity and MIBR win, which obviously they won't, but if they did, we just have a rematch in Complexity MIBR. Like, keep them apart. I think the loser plays each other as well. So like if they both lose, we just like Complexity MIBR is an elimination game again. Can't we watch like? I mean, I want to watch Complexity versus like Renegades or something. I want to watch Complexity versus Mouse or Godsend. Like. Maybe not that.
I mean, but here's the thing. We'll see the winner of Big Complexity against MIBR because Astralis is just not good.
Astralis are not good.
They are very bad.
Yeah, it sounds mad, but MIBR genuinely might just beat them. Like, and it might not even be close.
Yep.
Maybe that's an overreaction. But Astralis' roles don't make any sense. Like, why do they have Blame F and Zipnix on the same team?
Yeah,
Because you can't. There's like no point having Blame F and then not putting him as like
as the
the
entry.
beta, the lurker, the
Yeah,
clutcher. Like, there's no point having him and then like not having him in Zipnix's roles. But then there's no point in having Zipnix.
and not having him as Nexus.
Blame F's like the younger model of like he's like the newer model of Zipnix.
He's the
He's like bigger, he's stronger, he's more handsome, he's a better player, and it's like, yeah, Zipnix, we're gonna keep you here, but we're gonna like sign your replacement, and then just like watch you slowly go mad and like deteriorate because you're playing the wrong role. It's so weird. It doesn't make sense. And then Lucky also has only looked good as a clutch player. So you just have 3 players who want a clutch. Glaive who wants to shoot through... Like, Glaive is happy to go aggressive. That's no problem. Config loves going aggressive. But then you just got 3 players who are going to try and, like, outbait each other to try and win a clutch.
Yep. Yep.
This team needs some... I mean, maybe swapping Lucky for a more aggressive AWPer sort of, like, fixes that balance a little bit. Maybe that's the fix. And then maybe their things will make more sense, but Zipnix is looking horrible at the moment.
Yeah. And just as a last point, I think on Kato, all the teams we named, there will be 8 more joining them on the 17th, which will be after the first 2 days of play-ins. Those are play-in groups. So by that time, you should have the next podcast, but if you don't, we'll have Navi, Gambit, Vitality, G2, VP, Heroic, Furia, and Liquid all joining them there. For Liquid and Fury to get absolutely smashed by the Renegades and Complexity when they make it through. As normal.
Who's winning it then? Who's winning IAM Kato?
Oh, who's winning Kato? Okay, so the correct answer is like is probably Vitality. Is probably the
wow. That is not the answer I was going to give.
So okay,
they don't break top 4 for me.
Navi
as like most likely to win.
Navi's like the obvious, like they should probably win. They've got Simple, right? But I don't know. I didn't like the way Navi was playing in Blast. I hope they can fix their stuff because good Navi is fun for everyone to watch. But I think Vitality. I don't know. I like the Vitality team. I can't explain it better. I think G2 definitely has a run. I think OG has a run. Like I can really see OG having a run here. But I think it, and like, I don't know why I think this, but like, I feel like Entropic has like a deep run to quarters or semis here.
Entropic seem like a team who are just like they're obviously really good, but it does feel like they never make it to semifinals. I don't know if that's just as a matter of time or if it's just like they are hard capped. I don't know.
You remember Astralis before they were like Astralis?
Yeah,
not when
they always finished 4th.
When they always finished like 4th place in the majors and tournaments and stuff. That kind of feels like where Entropic is right now.
I don't think Entropic are quite that good though. They don't consistently. They're like a constant top 8 team, but they always seem to lose in the quarterfinals.
I don't know.
Or like the round of 16. Like, I think Virtus Pro are gonna go deep. I really like Virtus Pro.
Do you think they have the Pasha buff?
The Pasha buff. It is Katowice and it is Virtus Pro. They made the final last year, I believe.
That's a possibility.
I'm pretty sure they did. They lost to Gambit in the final. I was writing a script on this earlier today, and I'm pretty sure they made the final because I sort of referenced the fact that Virtus Pro in the final.
Didn't you just do a video on the entire history of Virtus Pro, and he didn't?
I did. It was meant to be on the history of Poland, but the next video I'm recording after this is about Katowice through the years.
Okay, so you'll have an answer for us.
Last year Virtus Pro were in the final last year, and okay. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of teams who are coming in rusty, coming in a little bit like with new teams. Like there's going to be a little bit like few issues with structure, with timing, with spacing. Virtus Pro have been practicing together for months. They've made no changes over the player break, and they're really,
Well,
really oppressive.
To be fair, they made a change right before the player break.
Yeah, but it didn't seem to make them any worse. Like, they didn't seem to make it. They got a little bit better.
Yeah.
They're like really. If you make mistakes versus Virtus Pro, they will punish you so damn hard. Like, the way they play, because they're so patient, they're so oppressive, they will punish you so hard. And I feel like a lot of these teams are either new or rusty, and I feel like Virtus Pro are just going to prey really hard on those mistakes. I think they're going to make top four, maybe win it. Honestly,
maybe
I think top four will look something like Na'Vi, VP, G2, Vitality.
I could see that. That's a thing I can definitely see.
And it's really weird. It's really hard to count Gambit out though. It's
I know.
Really hard. I'm like,
we just
do I really not think Gambit are going to be top four? Do I genuinely believe that? And I kind of do, but I feel like every time I sort of think Gambit are down, they just come back up and they.
Like, here's the thing: the last time we saw Gambit was at FunSpark Ulti, like 3 weeks ago, which none of us really counted, even though it had some decent teams. And the time before that was Blast Premier World Finals, where they lost to Na'Vi in the finals of it. So
yeah, so there's basically nothing to base the idea that Gambit aren't going to be top four off. It's just like a feeling.
It's just a vibe. Just like I feel that Renegades are going to win their first match and then fail at the rest.
Yeah, that'd be proper Renegades.
Yeah. All right, you got anything else?
Is there anything else to talk about? I don't believe so.
There's something we got to talk about next week, but we can't talk about.
That's a cliffhanger. That is.
It's a bait right there.
Yeah,
that's some bait.
we could talk quickly about what you referred to me as the doomed finish roster.
Oh my god. Yeah, with the new roster with Alu and Twista. Yeah, it's like Brazilian Last Dance, but for Finland.
Yeah, and just much less interesting because it's only got one of the Last Dance. Like, it'd be much more if he got Alexi B back and Sergey back, then I'd be interested. I'd be like, yeah, this is a real Last Dance. Until Alu and Alexi B like kiss and make up, I'm not interested.
All right, and with that, we're going to get going for the week. Find us on Twitter at Logan Ramhap, at Aizyesque, and at ReadTLDR. We'll be back again next week when we have the beginning of Katowice. Until then, goodbye.
Goodbye.